Not be able to remember that day. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to remember some random day somebody just threw at me, but that day I remember vividly. For that was the day I said goodbye to my godmother, who was my best friend, confidant, and the most optimistic person I knew. Her sudden and shocking death came after and during a series of very challenging times. I mean, it was the middle of the pandemic. We had lost 4 family members prior to the past 2 years. There had been medical scares in the family. But this one felt like one of the biggest blows yet. However, through my grief, I remembered that this woman was the kindest, most loving person I knew. And I ended up leaning on my optimism as a steady hand to help guide me through that time. The dictionary defines optimism as a disposition or tendency to look on the more favorable side of events or conditions and to expect the most favorable outcome. Now, how each person views the world and therefore achieves this outlook varies. No two lives are the same. Each person's view on the world is structured from their pasts, and therefore how they stay optimistic is unique to their individual situation. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I'm an everlasting optimist. But when I sat down to write this, I came up short. Never before had I thought of how I maintain my optimistic demeanor or how it comes to me. When I did think about it, however, I came up with 4 major points or techniques. Firstly, I always try to focus on the positives rather than the negatives. As per the expression, I will always see the glass as half full, and then, as is said, I'll just drink whatever in the glass. There's a quote that I think demonstrates this technique perfectly by the late, great Betty White that goes something like this. Focus on the positives. Because if you focus on the negatives, then the good things will come at you, but then they'll go by. And you won't know you have missed them because you were too busy focusing on the bad things. Another thing I try to do is I try not to take life too seriously. Being able to get work done efficiently while having fun doing it, or being able to laugh at myself when I make a silly mistake, and I can assure you there are plenty of those, trust me. Laughter, in my view, is essential for a joyful life, along with humor, which is another tool that I use to help stay optimistic. Former United States Senator Alan Simpson once remarked that humor is a universal solvent against the abrasive powers of life. Looking for the little joys and things in life too helps me stay optimistic. Whether it be coming home to a nicely made bed at the end of a long day, or seeing a flower atop a weed budding and starting to bloom as I drive to school, or even using my favorite pen to write an essay. It's blue, by the way. This point leads me to my last, and to me, the most important, looking for the magic in the world. For me, the magic in the world is seeing the happiness of others, or something that's beautiful that'll never occur the same again. Something like seeing a fire dancing around a campground or a fireplace. That fire will never dance precisely as it just did. Or maybe seeing a bee buzzing around a newly bloomed flower dancing in its pollen. Maybe walking by a puddle of water and seeing a twinkle and a sparkle in its ripple. Or when a baby first smiles at you. These things will never happen the same again, at least not precisely as they just did. And I cherish those small pieces of magic, but major pieces of happiness. This is how I have maintained my optimistic demeanor through challenges before, and how I'll continue to do so. My life, and those who have graced it, have influenced this. My mother taught me how to seek the beauty and the peace in nature. My father taught me how to appreciate the little things in life. My sister taught me how to stay strong during challenges to maintain this outlook. My godmother taught me how to seek the magic in the world, along with many others not mentioned and their own techniques and my own findings. For optimism is what you make of it, and this is how I found mine. Thank you.